This episode of the Massive Agent Podcast is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to start out here in just a second, just talking openly about what's happening in America right now, what's happening in society. I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'll give you my perspective for anyone who cares. This podcast is my opportunity to speak from the heart, and that's what I'm going to do today. In addition to that, I'm going to talk about how we as real estate professionals can and should be more human, be more empathetic, and be more authentic in our marketing and how we can do it and exactly where you should put it and all that stuff. So this will be a little different episode today.
The Massive Agent Podcast, with lead generation tips and strategies to get you more leads and sell more homes.
I love to buy houses. I like to sell houses.
It takes brass balls to sell real estate.
Wait a minute.
The leads are weak. You're weak.
I've had better.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Here's your host, Dustin Brohm.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 128 of the Massive Agent Podcast. I am your host, Dustin Brohm. This is going to be a little different today. I'm going to speak much more from the heart, give you my opinion on things, give you my thoughts, perspective, and if you agree, if you don't, totally fine. At the heart of what I'm about to say is a deep understanding that we all have different perspectives. We all come from different upbringings, different points of view. All of that is fine, but having a conversation is what matters. Talking about the differences between us is so important. Then I'll also, like I said in the intro, I'm going to tie it into marketing and some thoughts that you can move forward with to market your listings and market yourself to get new business and all of that, with some perspective of, how to just be more human and show it so that you can attract the right people to you in your marketing. Before we get started, if you are new to the show, welcome. My name is Dustin Brohm, your host. I am an agent in Salt Lake City, Utah, have been for just over 9 years now with eXp Realty. I'm the co-founder of the Industry Syndicate Real Estate's Media Network. I am a national speaker on all things real estate marketing and podcasting. I'm a columnist for Housing Wire and the founder of the Massive Agent Society, our one agent per market lead gen training program. It is open to anyone as long as your market is available. You could check that out at massiveagentsociety.com. Those who are part of my eXp organization get membership for free. So if you have questions about that or eXp Realty, feel free to ask. Go to @MassiveAgent on Facebook or Instagram and shoot me a DM. Happy to discuss, or just go to massiveagentpodcast.com/EXP. You can click play on a video that explains the business model, and then right below it, you can directly schedule a Zoom call with me to discuss what you just saw and how it affects you and how you plug into it to see if you're a good fit for this business model and if it's a good fit for you. We can do all that there at massiveagentpodcast.com/EXP. And this week, this last week's been crazy, okay? I've had, before I get into just talking about this terrible murder of George Floyd that happened, and it was a murder. There's no doubt. It was 100% murder, and you're not going to hear any, I'm not going to fight you on that. I mean, anyone with a brain, anyone who saw what's going on would agree. But before I get into that, I've had so many messages about podcasting. How do I do this? What gear do I need? What kind of microphone? And then once I record the audio file, what do I do with it? So 2 things I want to mention for you guys who want to do a podcast. The first thing, you need a hosting platform, okay? The hosting platform is where you upload the audio file to, and then it distributes the audio file. It publishes it to Apple, to Spotify, to Pocket Casts, to, iHeartRadio, to Google Podcasts, Stitcher, all of those places where you listen to podcasts. Wherever you're listening to this podcast now, the podcast gets to you from my podcast host. So you need a hosting platform. I use something called Buzzsprout. It is extremely user-friendly. If you Google podcasting platforms, you're going to hear about Libsyn. I promise you, Libsyn is used by the majority of people because it's just been used forever. It doesn't mean it's better. It's just that's what people have been using. It's so freaking outdated. So if you want to have an easy time and still have literally all the same functionality that anyone with Libsyn has, then you want to use Buzzsprout. So you can actually get a $20 Amazon gift card if you're a new customer of Buzzsprout. So go to massiveagentpodcast.com/Buzzsprout, BUZZ, Sprout, and you can get a $20 Amazon gift card for signing up there. But try that out. It's like $12 a month. That's all I pay to host my podcast is $12 a month. It makes it so easy. I promise you, I've done my research on podcasting hosts. There's nothing better for 99.9% of you than Buzzsprout. And I am one of those 99.9%. It's just the easiest. It has all the bells and whistles as anything else. It's just easy. $12 a month. Go get yourself a hosting platform if you plan to do a podcast, or if you have already launched one and just want to have a better hosting platform. And then as far as microphones, I highly recommend that you guys get the ATR 2100X by Audio-Technica. I personally use a Blue Yeti. I wish I didn't because it's super sensitive. It's a great mic. You have to get super close and you have to be in a very quiet room. It just takes more planning and prep to have great sound. And it does have great sound. It's about a $120 mic, but it could hear a mouse fart 3 blocks away. It's so sensitive. So if I was doing it over again, I would get the ATR 2100X, and you could get it on Amazon. I highly recommend, guys, go to my Amazon store and check out that mic along with a pop filter that you need to go in front of it. I have all of that there in an Amazon store for you. Just go to massiveagentpodcast.com/podcast gear, massiveagentpodcast.com/podcast gear, and get hooked up with the link. It'll take you right to the Amazon store. You can get that mic and do all that. And by buying through our Amazon store, you are helping to support this podcast just a little bit with a couple bucks that that they'll pay us for referring them a paying customer. So go check that out for all you guys asking about podcasting, which you've been coming out of the woodwork the last week. So there we go. Okay, guys, I want to give you my thoughts on George Floyd and the current state of America and Black Lives Matter and everything that's going on. I've really waited to put anything out there, and it's not. If you've noticed, please don't take it for anything other than me just wanting to have full context. I wanted perspective. I wanted to hear all these different perspectives and points of view, and I wanted to think on it for a while before I said anything publicly, because I understand that I have a responsibility to do so. Now, at first I was thinking, I don't need to post anything. I don't need to say anything because what would anyone care? Like, I'm just a real estate podcaster. But then what I realized was I need to say something because I feel like silence is not helpful. Silence is not doing any good. It's not changing the narrative at all. And to be honest, above and beyond that, I want to be on the records so that my kids and my grandkids and my grandkids one day will know where I stood today as this major turning point in America was happening. I want to be on record of where I stand. I want my kids to know where their father stood right now. So I'm doing this podcast, and I'm recording this on Wednesday. It comes out tomorrow. So when you hear it, I will have recorded this the prior day. I'll be posting similar thoughts on Facebook later this evening, possibly even on Instagram as well. But I'm going to use this chance to really just speak openly and give context more than I can in a Facebook post. So when I first saw, like most of you guys, about a week ago, when I first saw the video of George Floyd being nonchalantly murdered by a Minneapolis police officer and 3 others just standing around, hands in their pockets, I got physically sick. I felt ill. I felt so man, and then this is another reason why I waited to say something like, how do I put it into words? You know what I mean? And something changed in me because it made me sick. I felt fear. I felt sadness. I felt all sorts of things when I first saw it. I instantly knew that should not have happened. That is murder. And I mean, I'm as big of a supporter as the police department and, as the next guy. But that, as you'll hear from many other police officers, that was so far beyond the line. That is murder. And so that's why the cops are being charged, as they absolutely should. But since then, okay, I wasn't trying to, me waiting to say something was not me trying to figure out my stance on that. That was murder. I knew it instantly. I felt it instantly. I felt the presence of evil, if you will, when I watched that video. And it changed something in me. But the reaction afterwards that America has had, protesting, peaceful and violent, and riots and looting and just the whole conversation, that's where I really wanted to take time and just absorb and listen and think and internalize. And I know that a lot of you are with me on this. And again, if you don't care what I have to say on this issue, I apologize. But like I said, I'm doing this so that I'm on the record, so that my kids one day will know where their father stood. And if my perspective helps you or gives any comfort to you, or maybe it pisses you off, maybe you completely disagree with me, whatever, it is what it is. So you don't have to listen, but I hope that you do and will at least listen, because now more than ever, we need to be listening to each other and understand the other side. So, this last week has just been super tough emotionally. My wife has been having a really tough time. She saw the video. She's like, how does that even happen? How could they not know? How could they not, or they knew. How could those cops not stop and realize what they were doing? And how could they not, she doesn't understand how that can exist in the world. And then when the protest started in Salt Lake, the protests, which I completely 100% support, then turned to riots and destruction of property and burning of police cars and throwing bricks at people's heads and destroying businesses that are completely innocent, many of them minority owned. That is so not okay. That pisses me off. And so we've been having a tough time watching this unfold. All of us have been watching this unfold. I've been consuming a lot more than I probably should have, but I just want to take it all in. Anyhow, but please do not mistake my lack of a post or statement. Sounds so PR bullshit. Please do not mistake me waiting until today's podcast and last night's Facebook post to mean anything other than what I've already said. I wanted to really gather my thoughts on this, and I'm still, even though I've had a week to do so, I'm still struggling, because how do you talk about this all within one podcast episode that's meant for real estate agents who just want to sell more homes, right? So, okay, regardless if anyone cares about my opinion, and I cannot control whether or not you listen or care about the opinion, care about my perspective, whatever. I can only control whether or not I say something. So that's what I'm doing. My heart hurts for George Floyd. My heart hurts for his family. My heart hurts for the family of those police officers that watched a family member murder another man or stand by while it happened. I can only imagine how their families feel. Could you imagine if you found out your spouse caused someone to die? Whether it was intentional or whatever, I'm not talking about this particular situation, but could you imagine how you would feel? I cannot imagine that. My heart hurts for his family and friends. And they have to relive it over and over and over and over because the video is out there, right? My heart hurts for our country. My heart hurts for those who feel that protesting is and and clashing with police and destroying property and just lashing out, that they feel like that's their last option, my heart hurts for them. I do not know what that feels like. I am a 36-year-old white guy from Salt Lake City, Utah, and I've lived here the vast majority of my life. I absolutely have a certain level of privilege that I don't even fully understand. I accept that. I can't control that. I'm not going to apologize for that because I could not control that. I've had a great life. I do not have fear when I'm driving around town. I do not have fear if I get pulled over other than, oh shit, I'm going to get a ticket. You know what I mean? Or what did I do now? So I've been very, very blessed, but I know now that I will never understand what it's like to be black in America. And that, I mean, it is what it is. Like, how could I ever know that? How could I ever know that? But I want to try to understand. I want to try to visualize what that's like. I want to hear what it's like, because if we listen to what it's like in someone else's shoes and we realize, hey, this is not okay, this is not right, then we can make the necessary changes. If we deny that there's a problem, if we deny that changes must be made, nothing will change, and this will get worse, and it's not right. So we've got to listen. And that's what I've been spending the last week trying to do and will continue to do. But imagine if you were so frustrated and so fed up and not being heard, not being listened to, or if someone listened to you, then they just didn't care or didn't do anything about it once you voiced your concerns that were very valid. And you felt that the only outlet for you was to throw a brick through a window or to throw rocks at police officers, to chant, to, burn things. I don't understand what it would be like in that position. So I have empathy for that. Where I don't have empathy is for those who are opportunistic, who are now completely distracting us from the cause of George Floyd's murder and race relations in America. Antifa, these people who are using these protests and turning them violent for their own political agendas and their own just thirst for destruction or just stealing shit. I have no patience for you. I do not understand that. Now, and guys, I'm going to be completely honest. I have been this whole time, but this is a little bit more honest. I really believe that knowing who I was when I was just out of high school, especially, sophomore, junior year in high school, I did not understand. When you're in high school, you're in a bubble. You have no, what's the word? You have no respect for other people's feelings, property, whatever. You don't think about that stuff. It's all about having fun or what's cool in the moment. I believe that if I was a high school sophomore or junior, maybe even senior, and these protests were going on, I might be a part of them. I might be one of those people throwing rocks. I might be one of those people, destroying cities. And so I know that like it helps me a little bit to understand that these kids who are doing it, as they're criminals, they're shitheads, they deserve to be arrested. They deserve all the consequences, of course. But I know what it was like when I was just a shithead kid as well, and the mindset I was in. And so I can kind of empathize a little bit with that. As much as it pisses me off to say, I get it. And from what I've seen on TV, at least in Salt Lake City, they're kids. They're kids that it's like they're trying to be cool. And one of the most frustrating parts about the whole thing is when they start to loot and destroy and burn and cause other people's businesses to just be destroyed. They've completely ruined this valid protest, this valid movement towards justice and changing the way things are done so that Black America feels more part of society, if you will. This is probably the wrong way to put it, but you know what I mean. And so now they're like, hey, I'm just going to use this because I want to steal some shit. I just want to break some windows. I just want to be cool. That is so not okay. but I know what I was like when I was 18, 19 years old. I might have been one of those people. And I thank God that I wasn't, because I would deserve to be arrested. I would deserve to have a cop come up behind me if I was throwing rocks at them and beat the shit out of me, because that's what's, you reap what you sow. And you don't treat people like that, especially police officers. I was taught as a kid, you do not, police officers are people of authority, and you do not act that way towards them. You don't even talk back, and that, being that they are in positions of authority, makes it that much more painful and difficult that they were the ones causing this. They were the ones that caused George Floyd to die. They were the ones who killed him. And they were the ones that should be protecting and serving. And that's what makes this also just so, I don't even know. I don't even know. I thought that I'd be able to be much more articulate today, but it's just not okay. So last thing before I get into some marketing talk, so that you can actually get some real estate value, some real estate marketing value out of today's show. And if that's all you were looking for today, I apologize, but I needed to say this. And this podcast is my platform. This is my megaphone, whatever. This is my soapbox. And so I'm going to use it because it's important to me. Last thing I'll say is Black lives absolutely matter. They matter to me. Full stop. Okay, stop saying all lives matter. Okay, no shit. It's not about you. It's not about us. Okay, I will say Black lives absolutely matter to me, and if you're listening to this show, and if you have been for a while, I know that they matter to you too. So just leave it at that. Don't make it about you and say, well, actually, all lives matter. Well, no shit, but it's not about us right now. It's not about us. I don't feel threatened. I don't feel unsafe. So it's not about us. No shit, all lives matter, but stop saying that in the context you're saying it. Let's just embrace our Black brothers and sisters. They need it. They deserve it. And let's leave it at that and not make it about us and say, well, actually, all lives matter. No shit. It's really driving me nuts. And most people who say it, I understand where they're coming from. I completely understand, because yes, in a vacuum, outside of what's happening right now, yes, all lives matter. It doesn't matter what color you are. Of course, I get it. But when you say it in the context you're saying it, it's hurtful. It's dismissive of our Black brothers and sisters, or anyone with any minority, especially our African-American friends. It's dismissive of what's happening to them and what they're going through, and it's not okay. So reach out to, I've reached out to some friends of mine who are Black and just said, hey, I want you to know you matter to me and I love you. And that's it. That's it. And then, if they want to talk, awesome. If they don't, at least, I don't know. So with everything going on right now, if you are wondering, like, wow, the climate on social media is just not right for me promoting things or selling or running Facebook ads or whatever, and you feel like it's just tone deaf for the moment, you're probably right. It's okay to take a minute. It's okay to wait a week before you start a Facebook ad campaign. It's okay to wait until you feel right promoting your new listing or doing a video about why now is the best time to buy a house in Salt Lake City. And, if you feel that the timing is off and you feel uncomfortable and you feel like you just feel kind of icky, then don't. It's okay. Whatever you are putting out right now, and from here forward, be human, be authentic. Let people get to know you. This is why content marketing is so great. When you do video, when you do podcast, when you do something where people can actually see and or hear you, they can get to know the real you. They can see how you say things. They can see your body language while you're saying it. If they can only hear you, if it's just a podcast or whatever, then they can hear how you say things. It's so important to getting to know somebody's personality. You guys that have been listening for a while, you know me pretty well. Like I am myself on this show. I censor myself a little bit. I don't say the F word on the show. I think I have once, but I do that on purpose. I just decided I'm not going to do that. That's the line for me. But other than that, this is me. This is me. And I feel like I've been able to build deeper connections with a lot of you, and a lot of you have come to work with me and join my real estate team and join my EXP organization because you feel like you've gotten to know me. There's so much power in just putting yourself out there. So do that and use your voice. Don't be afraid don't be divisive. Don't be super controversial and stuff unless you're fine with that, unless you're totally willing to alienate half of people. I don't think that's a smart business move. I just don't think you need to do that or should. But that's cool. You do you. But use the tools available. YouTube, Instagram stories, Snapchat, if you still use it, TikTok, if you use it, podcasting, writing articles, Facebook posts, LinkedIn articles, all that stuff is there for you to get more people to see or hear your message. Whatever your message is. Okay, add some more empathy to it. Be conscious of what's going on in society when you're posting things so it's not tone deaf. We spoke on a previous episode during the middle of the COVID pandemic when, March and April, when it was really crazy. I told you the story of a local agent in Salt Lake who was running Facebook ads that had been running for a while that made no mention of the pandemic, no mention of how it would affect property values or anything. And it was just like, now's the best time to sell. And she didn't mean anything by it. She just had it running for a while, but didn't turn it off when the climate changed. When the climate on social media changed, you've got to be sensitive to that. So time your stuff correctly. It doesn't mean that you can't or shouldn't promote things. It's just how you do it. How you do it matters. What you say and how you say it matters so much. So just pick better topics. Pick more timely topics, or if you're going to do a first-time homebuyer campaign or something, maybe you wait a week. You know what I mean? Just be more sensitive to it. So there's so many great tools out there to help you amplify how many people will see the message. So if you do a video, you've got to learn Facebook advertising. Running a Facebook ad or Instagram ad or both to get more people to watch a video is so easy, and you get so much for your money. I mean, you can be getting people watching 15 seconds or more of a video, which is that's actually a long time if you think about when you're scrolling your news feed and boom, somebody stops, and for 15 seconds or more, they're watching a video, and you can get that for 1 or 2 cents. $30 goes a very, very long way to get thousands of people to see a video or hundreds or whatever it is. So you've got to learn Facebook advertising and use video. It is the best way to get a message out there. Okay, not necessarily to capture leads, but to get more people to hear you and see you and deliver a message. You've got to know what the goal of your campaign is. Is it that you have this amazing video? Maybe it's a neighborhood tour. Maybe it's just a listing walkthrough video. And you're thinking, I just want more people to see this. If only more people could see this, then I'd get more showings, or we'd sell the house quicker, or we'd get more offers. Then do that. Don't worry about capturing their information. Just get it out there. Facebook ads are great. Put stuff in your Instagram stories. Cross post. So, if you do a great Instagram story, download the video, put it up on YouTube, or put it over on Facebook, and then take the video and put it on LinkedIn, wherever your audiences are. You can, if you have great content, cross post it, put it in different places or pieces of it in different places. It doesn't always have to be 100% original, never been seen before. You're doing something unique for Facebook and then for LinkedIn, and then that's great, but that just takes so much more time. So much more time. If you do something put it in a bunch of different places in different ways that are natural to the platform that they're on, and then learn how to put some money behind it on Facebook or Instagram. You could even do it on LinkedIn and Twitter. Their ad platforms are just not nearly as awesome as Facebook. You don't get as much for your money, but learn that. So then you do a great video that you're proud of, and you're like, man, if only more people could see it, we'll put $30 behind it and run a Facebook ad and get 1,000 or more people to see it. It's really, the tools are there. The tools are there. There's no shortage of information of how to do those things. The only variable is, are you going to seek the information out? You could either hire someone, you could join the Massive Agent Society if you want to, you could watch a YouTube video and learn it yourself, you could do it trial and error, whatever, but do it, okay? There's information, go seek it out, and then do. That's the variable that no one else can help you with but you. It's an amazing time right now, guys. Be an adult in the room, be a leader in your community, be human, let people see who you are. Let it shine through in your content. Put personality into it, okay? And there's never been a better time for humans with personalities to stand out on social media than now. You just have to do it in the right way. So I beg you, just whatever you post, make sure that you think about how it's going to be received. Is the timing right? Is the messaging right? Does the audience that you want to see it actually care about it? Or do you just want them to see it? If you're just like, well, I want them to see it, so it's not going to do so well. Think about what they want, what they need, and then share that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been a different podcast episode, but if you're still here at the end, congratulations and thank you. I really thought I'd be able to be more articulate in the beginning with what's going on, but those are my thoughts as of now. Man, it's I really do feel good now that I've put it out there, because I think it's important to be on the record with where I stand. And if anyone listening ever needs any support or someone to listen to them, I mean it genuinely. This is not just an empty offer or empty promise or whatever. Reach out. Send me a DM at Massive Agent on Instagram, at Massive Agent on Facebook, and I will listen. If there's anything that I can do to help, that is why I do this podcast. I want to help real estate agents. I want to help you be successful. I want to help show you the path to be successful. I want to show you that the tools to be successful and build wealth and build a business exist. And, I can only do that if you're willing to accept or open your eyes and see what's being presented to you. Not to say that it's like whatever I say is that's it. Like that's the only option. It's not what I'm saying at all. But from my perspective, my job is to just share it and to help. So I'm genuine in that. If you would like to talk about my perspective or my thoughts and maybe give yours or correct me on something or whatever, challenge me on something, that's fine. As long as you do it from a place of genuine, you genuinely just want to man, this is so hard. If you genuinely want to make progress in this country and better understand others, and you want to have a dialogue, happy to have it. If you want to have a fight, if you want to battle, I'm not interested. I'm too busy for that shit. I have way too many things to do to take care of my businesses and my family. So if you just want to fight, if you just want to be an asterisk hole and tell me, well, actually this, and actually the stats show this, and I'm not interested. Stick it and, go share it with somebody else, because I don't care. Guys, thank you. I love you. You all matter to me. I think that the only thing that I wanted to say in the beginning that I didn't, that I can now is, a lot of people are saying that I don't see color. I don't see color. I do see color, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just because you notice someone else has a different ethnicity or different skin color than you does not mean anything. Okay, it's what you it's the thoughts that come after that. Your actions matter. I hope you know what I'm saying. I'm not colorblind, but man, I think you know what I'm saying, and I hope that you do. I'm going to leave it at that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. I really appreciate you. We'll be back next week with a guest and really dive deep on some tactics to help you to sell more homes and be successful. But I will end with this. Everything we're going through right now in America, it may get worse before it gets better, but like a wildfire, I believe we will become stronger and better as people and a nation for it. A wildfire destroys forests, and it just looks so bad. It's like, wow, how can this was so beautiful before, now it's nothing. Then once the regrowth happens, it grows back even better, even more green, even more lush, even taller trees, healthier trees, everything than before. And I believe that that's what's going to happen. As long as we are honest and we let it be known where we stand, and we don't tolerate bullshit, and we call out evil when we see it. Thank you guys. Talk to you guys next week.